America knows how to provoke China. Why would they? Why would they decide that now's the time? I'll tell you. America will decide that now's the perfect time when the Pentagon is ready to test the F-35 in the field. That's what I think. See, this F-35 has been developed by, I believe it was Lockheed Martin, the same company that gave the F-16. They've been, I don't think that Taiwan is going to have the new F-16s. I think that the sale is just going to be a provocation. We could get lucky and the F-16s just get delivered in Taiwan. That could happen. But I think that the sale is going to be the provocation that triggers the flashpoint that starts the Chinese-American War. And I don't think the Chinese-American War is going to last long. But it's because the F-16 is going to go, eat everybody's lunch. In fact, this is the thing. I think that the world is going to see what the F-35 is going to eat everybody's lunch. I think the world is going to witness the power that the F-35 has, and that's going to be Pax Americana for at least another decade. In the bag, easy, effortless. This F-35 is kick butt. Now, it's got a chassis problem. It's supposed to last 40, 50 years or something, but the F-35, I don't know if you've ever watched Deep Space Nine Star Trek series, the Defiant. It was in the Star Trek movie with the Borg, and they emergency beamed Worf and his crew off of the Defiant. The Defiant was this overpowered Star Trek ship. It had super big guns, super enormous engine, little tiny ship, and that's what the F-35 is. I mean, literally, if you pushed the engines, it's science fiction, but as Chief O'Brien said, if you fly the Defiant as fast as its engines can safely, the hull, the ship, will start to tear itself apart. F-35s have so much ability to spin and turn in midair and rotate this jet around that way. Or I don't know if you know how it works, but it's got the equivalent of four-wheel steering. It's so capable and it has so many things on it and it can go so fast and it can do it silently. It can do silent stealth Mach 3 or Mach hypersonic. I don't know if it can do Mach 3. I presume it can do Mach 3, but it better be able to do Mach 3. But it can do supersonic at stealth. Yeah. This is a big, and it can carry missiles and still be stealth. It's got to open the doors, which makes it not stealth anymore. But it's I don't want to, this is not going to be an ad for the F-35s, but this F-35, it's got problems. The chassis aren't strong enough to last the full, 30, 40, 50 year life of the airplane. They'll only last 10 years. And this is a problem Lockheed Martin has to figure out. But other than that, America's government is ready to test the F-35. And they're going to provoke China. I think that this is just me knowing how the world works. This is not prophecy. I think America is going to provoke China with the sale of F-16 Model Vs, F-16V. 5-10 years ago, it was the CD model. And then the F-16 model from Top Gun, we're talking the AB model. Well, this is the Model V. The F-16V sale to Taiwan could be what provokes China. America will time it to the second, I think, when they're ready to test the F-35 in the field. Now, the world will see a demonstration of the F-35's capability. The world will respect America because we've got this plane, and they will respect the countries that buy it from us. And China will be beat down. Russia will have to step back its dealings with other countries, but it will pull back and quietly amass its forces. It's not preventing the big one. I don't think World War III is the end of the world, folks. I think World War IV is. So you can quote me on that. The Chinese-American War will not be that big of a war. It probably better be the Chinese World War, because it's going to be China's war against the world. Here's how the Chinese-American War pans out. China attacks Taiwan, and God will probably show up. God will throw in the unexpected. A typhoon could show up. So the act of God will be there. Because God loves to make an entrance. He does this. In American wars, God shows up. So God will show up like he always does. And same thing with Israel wars. God likes to... the 6-Day War. There was this one story. This Israeli was in his little tiny tank. And he was up against an army of tanks. And so he rolled down the hill in this zigzag fashion. And all this army of this other group of... This is like 1940s or something. Maybe 1960s. I forgot. I don't know my history. But all the other tanks ran away. And apparently it's because this giant angel appeared behind this little Israeli tank and scared the army of tanks away or something. Like that. So God's going to show up in the Chinese-American War. I don't know how, but he's going to show up. And I think the world is going to pick apart China. Russia might take a piece. Mongolia might take out might help Inner Mongolia, which is a Chinese province. India might come in and liberate Tibet. In exchange for border concessions, maybe. I don't know. Britain has already laid in the paperwork with their complaints about Hong Kong, so they could show up and liberate Hong Kong. Japan is going to have its own stuff to say and could liberate nearby provinces there. North and South Korea, that's not going to be a safe place. China's going to have to be busy managing that instead of helping elsewhere. So China's is surrounded with enemies it has created on all sides, even inside. And then it's going to start a war. It's going to start the fire. Like it's been pointing TNT rockets at itself from all sides. And now it wants to go light a match. These are not smart people. So, yeah, that's how it ends. The world picks apart China, takes it apart piece by piece, divides and chops it up and gobbles it up. And that's going to be the end of the Chinese communists. They may reform like Russia came back later on. With a new supposedly free government, but just as evil or whatever, right? Just as much of an adversary, we'll say. Okay, so that's it. That's my little baby explanation. I was going to talk about some other things, but that's the big one. America will start the war when they're ready. They will provoke China to start the war when they are ready to test the F-35 and demonstrate it to the world for more Pax Americana or more Pax Lockheed Martin. The company that made the F-35 and F-16. When they're ready to test the F-35, they will provoke China. And the winner of the Chinese-American War, it will not be America or China. It'll be the West that comes in and picks China apart. Because that was the plan all along. See you next week.